simple distillation is a technique used as a final purification step of a liquid. You can also determine the boiling point as you're doing the distillation, or it can be used as a way to separate a mixture as long as the boiling points of the compounds are far apart, as in more than 70 degrees Celsius apart. To build a distillation apparatus, we first have a ring stand as the base and the 3-prong clamp and the clamp holder. We have the distilling flask, which should be of appropriate size so it's not too full. And we want to clamp it securely to the clamp holder by squeezing the prongs together and screwing in on both sides to make it nice and secure. This is the most important piece of the apparatus. We then want to build the rest of the apparatus from this point on, and we can do that on the bench top. And so we have the different pieces of the distillation apparatus. We have the 3-way connector and the thermometer with the thermometer adapter, the condenser, the vacuum adapter, and then we'll have a receiving flask. First, we want to add the thermometer adapter to the distilling header 3-way. As you can see, this has a ground glass joint and the thermometer adapter on top. This is removable, so it would look like this, and we add the thermometer adapter, and then we have our thermometer. You may have a different apparatus in your drawer that has this piece all combined in one. So it's very important to position the thermometer correctly in order to get an accurate boiling point. To do this, we want to first add the thermometer to the straight tube adapter. And we want to do this very carefully so that as to not break the thermometer. And you insert it in the hole and twist gently. If it's tight, you can add a little bit of glycerin to the top of the thermometer adapter, and that will help insert the thermometer into the tube. Proper positioning of the thermometer has the bulb below the side arm of the 3-way connector. So this would not be proper positioning because the bulb is above the side arm. What we want is to twist it down a little bit more. And I have to do it a little bit more. And so that looks good. You can see that the bulb is below the side arm. We would not want it any lower than that, especially not into the distilling flask, because then you would not get an accurate reading on the temperature as the vapors reach the condenser we're going to attach to the side. All right, we can now add the condenser to this apparatus, and we secure it using a keck clamp. The keck clamp has a small side to it and a large, and so you place it on the joint and have the small side of the keck clamp snap into position with the large end on the outer piece. So this is securely fastened. We then want to add the vacuum adapter and secure it with a keck clamp, and then our receiving flask. So again, this should be an appropriate size to collect the volume of liquid that you're distilling, and this should be pre-weighed or tiered so that you know how much product is collected. So you can see we now have assembled the full distillation apparatus that can be placed on our distilling flask. for the distillation. The final piece that needs to be added is that we need to cool the condenser, and so we're going to run cool water in through the bottom and out through the top of the condenser. So you want to use the thin-walled tubing. And attach it to the faucet securely. And this attaches at the lower end of the condenser. We then want the out end of the water to be anchored in the sink with a plastic funnel, as shown here. Otherwise, we could have a flood in the room, which is not a good thing. And that attaches to the top, or the out end of the condenser. All right, there we have it. We now have the simple distillation set up, and we can move on to the next step of beginning the distillation.